to the next. Vito's requested to speak.
Wow. Thank you, Steve. Mauricia, thank you so much. I can't really add anything to that, right? Because I didn't have anything near that impactful experience for me. But I will tell you that from what everybody says, 67% of the kids in Krista McAuliffe, which I'm very familiar with, we have an ENI index of 67%. I don't know if that's just not poor enough for you. And I don't know where that rates, but I know that it's high enough that many of my parents in my school, many of families in my school struggle to get by, and the work that their children do, right, is so important to them because of schools like Krista McAuliffe and the specialized high schools and G&T programs are a way for them to overcome their circumstances. Yeah, it's not anecdotal when it's a majority of these children are immigrants, when a majority of these children, especially in District 20, we're not talking about other districts from more well-off areas. I was schooled and I was told that District 20 is not just Shore Road. And, I accept that and I look at that and I see the poverty in this district, this entire district. And many of our kids who are in poverty come to the G&T programs, come to the Krista McAuliffe's, want to go to a screen school, want to go to a specialized high school, because it is just like Adele's father. This is their way. This is their way to realize the American dream. And to another point, Alan, and everyone actually, it's not discriminatory. It's not segregationist by race if every single school in this city, every single school had a G&T program. And the makeup of the G&T program was no different than the makeup of the school at large. And if it was a structured curriculum with specific rigorous education, I talk again and again and again about Success Academy because they have a formula that works. And it's about making parents engaged, forcing them, helping them to teach their children and to do specific things with their children. And if we could do better than Success Academy, because what we could say is, you know what? We're going to expand the school day. We're going to expand the school year. We're going to have in locus parente. I understand that some parents might not have the wherewithal or the time to put the time in that Success Academy requires. But that's where we could have after school programs. And that's where we could put money to really focus in on all of the things you have to do. They say, well, every kid values education. Every parent values education. Some parents value education and some don't. That's coded language. Well, everyone values education, but does everybody know what they have to do? Does everybody start baby signs when a kid is 6 months old? Does everybody read to their child when they're born? No, because they don't know, right? And this is something that we, in our 3K centers, in our pre-K centers, this is something that we could do. We should do all of that. We should try to really make the DOE very much accountable for the lack of resources and for also the lack of effective teaching that they give to our Black and brown children in underserved communities. I'm there with you. Okay, what would that look like? Well, let me tell you what that might look like. Okay, you have a kid in 3rd grade who's a 1 or a 2 on a test. There are some progressives who say, well, we shouldn't have a test because we're labeling the child. Well, how about instead of that, how about we go back and see, well, did this kid that's not doing well now in 3rd grade, well, did they have 3K? Really? Did anybody check to see if that 3-year-old child was hitting their milestones? I know every crazy parent like me had a sheet from the CDC with all of the milestones for age from the time the kid is born up until the kid's 5 years old. And if their kid didn't hit the milestones, they followed up. So let's forget the parents who don't have the technological savvy or whatever to do that, to get that CDC letter. That's why you have a 3K center. That's why you should go and you should see where the neighborhoods that have the lowest test scores should have the most 3K centers. Absolutely. But you can't just plop it in there. You can't just throw money at the problem. You also have to have a targeted a plan of action, to teach parents to help their children, and then go on from that. And then, yeah, after you do all of that, Alan, then no, you wouldn't need a G&T program in every school, because then you would have something like that, a highly structured program for crazy parents like me and the other G&T parents. And then you have different types of programs. We're not labeling children. What we're doing is we're differentiating types of instruction and types of curriculum for the parents that want that. Okay, and as far as the specialized schools getting extra money, I've heard that narrative before. I checked it in. My kids are at Brooklyn Tech. I specifically spoke to the principal at Brooklyn Tech. He said no. He doesn't get an extra dime. He doesn't know when that program ended. He never saw extra money with his kids. He gets fair student funding like everybody else, and he's not even at 100% of fair student funding. He was, I think the last time I checked, he was at 90% of fair student funding. So that's just a false narrative, and we just have to, listen, we all make mistakes, but let's just try to clarify them when we can.
6 yeses, 4 noes, 1 abstain. The motion passes.
Okay,